Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tooth and Claw, a dual-sided Chronicles of Darkness game from the perspective of Vampire the Requiem and Werewolf the Forsaken, not the Apocalypse. Stuck in my head. Today, I, Kevin Zarnicki, will be running for Artemis. With,
Me, Ashley Trakowski.
and yeah, the game continues. Ashley, would you like to catch us up on where we left off last time?
Yes. So last time Artemis was on sabbatical in Seattle with her boyfriend. And she was summoned by the big bad wolf uh because he thinks she's not living up to what her potential is. He forced back on her the issue with wanting to eat people, hoping that would get her to start living up to what he thinks her potential is. And so she basically ran away from home, um, started wandering the city, and ran into a young kindred who's part of the Ordo.
Few things that you, the viewer, can take away from that. One, these characters have a very deep backstory and a rich history and experience, which you will catch up with in media res. Two, this particular werewolf, Artemis, has a somewhat mysterious past and some very mysterious patrons that don't exactly fit into the cosmology of Forsaken. Uh, and beyond that, Artemis has better than working knowledge of how vampires work. In fact,
Yes, she
it might
lived
even
in
be a go ahead.
lived in New Orleans for a really long time, which, if anybody is familiar with the game, uh, Vampire the Requiem, New Orleans is crawling with vampires, and for a long time, werewolves weren't allowed there.
At
So,
least in our game they weren't. They just didn't really get
well, and
mentioned
in the and
much.
in the book, and according
Oh,
to the
okay.
book, yeah.
Okay. Well, you read it better than I did. So, you were running it.
Right.
So, okay. And with that note, you're on the back of a vintage Vespa clinging to gosh, how do you describe this girl? Hair done up in double chopstick buns, tank top, low hanging cargo pants, chunky shoes. There's something distinctly 90s teenager about this particular vampire. It's very can't hardly wait Empire Records. Um, but along you zoom. Under underpasses, your bag is still clinking with the still ice cold Coca-Cola vintage make with the actual cocaine in it. To say nothing of a plasma bag and a bit of some other weirdness out of a mystery soda machine that shouldn't have worked at all in the first place. But you can smell the pre-dawn coming. In the distance, the light is just rising, and you find yourself passing like a professional. You find yourself pulling into a private underground parking lot in Liberty. Is it Liberty Square? Liberty Park? Um, but a private underground parking lot, one of those ramps leading downward. As it pulls into the shade, you can see that there are other individuals moving towards this entrance. Some of them have their hoods up, others are simply walking along, and your eyes slide over them. But with your enhanced werewolfy sense, you can still tell someone's there. You're familiar enough with Obfuscate that vampires would be stealthing you. Um, as you approach the entrance gate, you can smell that vague dessert wine scent off of the security guard that tells you what?
The I don't know, that they're kindred?
That he's a ghoul.
Oh, okay.
Ghouls smell like vampire blood without actually being undead. They don't carry that resultant scent of death, that little bit of You don't sweat. You don't have pheromones. Nothing's happening. You can always tell a kindred by those little things. Humans who have ingested vampire blood and become ghouls have that vague, sweet, syrupy, slightly bloody scent about them that tells you that's a ghoul. As she pulls up to the guard, he takes one look at her and nods. The gate goes up. You can see most of the others are just filing in. One sedan with blackened windows is pulling in. A lot of people cutting it pretty close tonight. The sound of the Vespa echoes all the louder in the parking garage the deeper you go, and it does seem to go down, 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 not up.
Okay.
Round and round you go. At one point, large double doors that are marked private, the kind that you wouldn't normally drive a car through. You could, but you assume people walk through it, are opened up and people file through. The two of you just cruise by on the scooter. As you look up, you note that some of the vampires you're passing are looking up at you like they recognize you're not one of them. One or two of them might actually realize what you are, and they're just with the exquisite detail of memory, perception, and speed that all werewolves have. For example, the ability to remember what a license plate says with just a glance as it drives by at 50 miles an hour. You pick out little snippets and snatchets of conversation, small commentaries between kindred. That's because maybe she tasted sweetness. I swear it smells like the 40s back there. Because Libretta's bringing another one in. Is that Werewolf? So, past another twist and bend, another employees only, another private, until finally, by the time the sun has risen, most of the vampires have retired to apartments and havens built along underground, otherwise forgotten streets. You look along what appears to be a very old, forgotten, and submerged byway. Your sensitive ears can hear morning commuters not that far up above. Lights dance and jangle, artificial flicker torches for ambiance. You stand on a street with a oddly mixed aesthetic, vibrant if decayed, a sense of the ancient intermingled with the modern, dusty yet well maintained. The dynamic culture of over a century of evolving kindred society is on display. Everything from salons to salons and saloons to art galleries to a marketplace, insofar as any kindred wishes to be a shopkeep. The vampire looks back at you and says, "Welcome to the deadlines." Anything you want to say, do, or examine before you continue?
Um, so are these all Ordo?
No, 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 no. Not at all. But I'll take you where we are.
Is this just like a kindred hangout here in Seattle?
It's the best real estate in Seattle for kindred. You're not familiar with the underground city?
I mean, I've never been down here.
Well, we're underneath Pioneer Square right now.
Okay.
It was at ground level around the mid 19th century. When the streets were elevated, these spaces fell into disuse. Some of the outside corners of it, they are considered tourist attractions. Some of the locals call it the ice cream truck. But a lot of areas are still sealed off, thought to be abandoned, filled in, lost. That's where we are now. This is the best real estate a kindred could hope to ask for in the entire Emerald City.
So are you one of the ones who don't have to sleep during the day?
You seem to know an awful lot about my kind.
I'm good at research.
That's not you- Mm. She pulls the scooter up to a old brick and mortar structure, hung with a brass plaque leading "E tenebris ortus scientium." I don't suppose Artemis speaks Latin.
No.
Nope.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I speak more than English.
Don't you speak like Polish?
No. German, I think.
Ah, yes, because of those adventures.
Uh, did I not write it down? I could have sworn I spoke more than English.
I'm pretty sure you
Maybe I
picked up
don't.
German.
Well, I didn't write it down. Wait, hold on. It might be in my notebook because I had to transfer things to my notebook since the character sheet is not big enough for me anymore.
Ashley, we're live.
Yes, German. I speak German.
Okay, well, that doesn't help. This is Latin. All right. Great wooden double doors with matching brass fittings open to a wide hall with wood moldings and wide stone pillars carved in a dozen languages you don't speak. Dragonesque gargoyles holding vigil among the heights of the space. I have some better music for here. That'll work. A dozen beautiful wooden doors lead out of the space, and a pair of winding ballroom stairs lead further down. Libretta moves to one of the doors to the left, which opens into a generous hallway lined with 6 more doors, 3 to a side. The end of the hall features a hanging portrait of a muscular figure facing away, seemingly mid-change from man to demon or dragon, and a staircase leading down into the darkness. I imagine you're tired. You certainly seem it. We can continue our discussion when you've had time to rest. In the meantime, why don't you consider yourself my guest and therefore under my protection? We'll have much to talk about when you wake up, and I want a sharp mind for what I want to know. Take as long as you need. I'll be up all day.
Okay.
Is there anything you need?
No. Um, so I'm not super comfortable just falling asleep.
You don't have to.
Um, but are there any spirits I might be able to talk into keeping guard and waking me up if somebody disturbs my area?
Let me lay the scene for you, and then you can switch to your shadow vision and we'll discuss the ghost world here. Or
Okay.
spirit world here. Different frequencies.
Well, either, because
Yes,
I can
you do
see
have
both.
Barcast, so you can see ghosts as well. Um She opens one of those hallway doors to a sumptuous bedroom. Writing desk, 4-poster bed, washroom, armoire, and dresser. An old fashioned rotary telephone, classic in design, sits on the table. Um, as soon as you're in, your host nods her head and closes the door. You note that you do not hear a lock. Uh, while there are lights in the room, she didn't turn them on, but you can see just fine.
Yeah.
Your call if you want to be able to read, though. So, in terms of the spirit world, the Hyssel feels strange here. You smell smoke, like old burning. Something, hmm, something strange, something old. You feel life, but life that was, not life that is. Definitely burning. You smell fire. You smell brick and mortar. You smell, hmm, coast isn't too far away. You can hear laughter. You can hear giggles, moans, screams, the urge and press of lust and need. You hear the tinkle of pianos played badly. You hear church bells. You feel that warm rush of faith. Fire again. Blood. Definitely blood. Technically, there are always spirits, but you are not near a locus. You're pretty
Okay.
sure you're not far from one or two, though. In fact, you're pretty sure there's one probably in this building. Further down.
Are there any ghosts around here?
You switch up your vision, going from the native Uratha gift for seeing spirits and instead tap into the gift of the Barghest. The colors shift from the hyper vibrancy of the spirit world to the muted, cool filter, sometimes monochromatic world of the twilight. Here, the world feels much older. Where the Hissel felt like the impressions of emotion, here you see the echo of memory. The architecture in this room seems much the same, but you can see that there are burn marks on the walls. There's cobwebs hanging. The whole world smells of ash and tears. There's no ghosts in this room, but the chatter outside of your room changes. Instead of the whispered words of the first tongue, now you hear the low, susurrant cacophony of dozens of people who have died over the past forever. Nobody's in the room, though you can hear a couple right outside your door.
Um, okay, can I open up the door just a crack to see if like there's any kindred around?
You've still got your Twilight vision up, right?
Yeah, to see ghosts, but I can still see
Yes.
like things that are physically there, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. You've got on one hand, you've got uh, a single actual physical person is walking past the hall, moving towards those stairs going down at the end of it. That's a kindred. But there are two more figures, and they are literally right outside your door. One is leaning against the gem slightly away from you, and the other one is facing them. You see the kindred through them. The
Okay, so
one
they're ghosts.
Yes. The one leaning against the door jamb is a woman dressed in clothing you'd say is 150 years old. She has
Okay.
the look of a lady of the evening. And there is a guy talking to her, hair combed, back. His suit says more 80s than 1880s.
Okay. Look at both of
They
them.
both turn
There's
and
nobody else in the hall. After the kindred walks by, there's nobody like physically in the hall, right?
no. And the kindred isn't in a hurry, so he's just sort of strolling along.
Okay. Once
Both
he
of
gets like
both the
out of
ghosts
earshot,
both the ghosts
I'll
turn and
just
look
say
at you.
hello.
Okay, as soon as they're gone, you assume they're out of earshot. Who knows what kind of senses these kindred have?
Right.
The ghosts look at you and hello. He looks at you. Well, you're not the usual, are you?
No. And you're not surprised I can see you. That's interesting.
The woman grins and looks at you. We're not awfully surprised by very much of anything. Not down here, anyway.
Do you know about, like, anything that might be going on down here, like what the kindred are up to? Or the vampires down here?
Look, no offense, but you're obviously not one of them. What are you?
I'm a werewolf.
I told you. I didn't. Werewolf seemed like a stretch. Yeah, well, you're a ghost. That seems plausible. We've been doing this for like 30 years. I'm aware of that. So
Okay,
werewolves can
well,
see
now that we've
ghosts.
got what not all of us can. Not all of us can.
Look, every once in a while, one of the kindred will poke
Mhm.
around at us, usually around the nest, but that's about it. I mean, they live.
Where's the nest?
Well, that's down below. At least that's what they call it. We tend to call it a gate.
Is it easy to get to this gate?
Mm, I wouldn't say so. It's it's not nice down there.
Why?
The lady shifts a little uncomfortably and she raises her skirt, and you can see that there are cuts all along her legs, still weeping ectoplasmic blood.
Did that happen to you after you became a ghost?
Nope, that's how I became a ghost. There
So
was
it's
a guy.
unpleasant.
There
Sorry,
was
go ahead.
Yeah, it's unpleasant. There was a guy came in and managed to hold himself up and started hurting us. And when
People?
he yes, we're people, or we were. And after that, it and then we were here. He followed not too long after. There's something wrong about him. He stays near the gate. I think he's the one that the vampires are interested in.
Was he human?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell.
I mean, just because he's a ghost doesn't mean he was human before.
Well, he sure looked human. I mean, all weird and muscly and, crazy, but, you know, people can look that way.
Okay. Um, so was he like performing experiments or just torturing to be cruel?
I try not to think about it too much. But if you put me to it, I'd say I'd say he was a sadist. He did spout a lot of fire and brimstone Bible thumping crap about horrors of Babylon. Kept saying we should weep for the brambles we pass through, for lo, they lay upon the head of the King of Kings.
I'll look at the guy and be like, is he also the reason that you are now a ghost?
Not exactly. Look, I'll wager the vampires like it down here on account of You know,
No sunlight.
you know, not in the pedestrian areas though. They got like actual glass brick you could see up to the street, which is kind of neat. But no, no, I was doing a news report, looking into haunted areas and stuff, and saw a little bit too much, and somebody had their way with me.
Uh,
He pulls his collar back, and you can see a big gash wound where somebody must have taken a big chunk out of his neck.
okay, so you broke the masquerade.
I didn't know there was a masquerade.
Well, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just deducing. Um, so is there something that you two want? Is that why you're still here?
Huh?
Like, why are you two still hanging around?
It's one of those unfinished business things.
Well, that's usually why there's ghosts in my experience.
All right. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't thought about it, which I know sounds crazy, but I'm enjoying the show.
Okay.
I'm an atheist, okay? I don't know what comes after this. I didn't think there was an after, let alone people like you, no offense, or them. So I don't know what comes after this, and I'm not too keen to find out.
Well, there's a favor I wanted to ask, but that would mean I owe you one.
Uh, what could you possibly do for us? She looks at him and goes, "She's a werewolf who can talk to ghosts. Who knows what she can do? What do you need, honey?"
Well, I want to get some sleep, but I don't really trust the kindred around here, especially because some of them are Ordo, and I know for a fact that some of them like to experiment on my kind. So, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sticking around my door, and if someone comes in, wake me up.
Well, there's not a lot of them, but sure.
Okay. And then maybe I can help you with something later on.
He looks like okay. She looks at you like she's actually thinking about that. Well,
I
I
don't
got
know if you guys can feel any kind of like spiritual or ghostly energy from another state, but maybe you felt the residual ramifications of what happened in New Orleans during the hurricane.
felt something a while back, not too long ago. It's kind of hard to tell the time down here.
No. Well, I helped fix that problem.
Okay.
So that can give you an idea or something to think about what I can do.
Felt like a what did it feel like? I don't know, like a wave, like a crack, like a lot of screaming. Yeah, yeah, spooky. And I'm dead, so I hope that means something. She says, "Look, honey, I'll make sure nobody bothers you. Okay, we don't have a lot of obligations here, and old Mister Axe Crazy is downstairs, and he doesn't leave there
Okay.
that I know of. And hell, if you can see us, maybe you can touch us, and maybe you can stop him. I don't know, but yeah, sure, I'll wake you up if anybody comes."
Okay. Thank you. Close the door. Can I lock it?
Yeah, there is a lock.
Okay. Lock it. I'll set an alarm on my phone for like, I don't know, just sleep for a few hours. I'm used to only getting a few hours of sleep.
Are there any calls you need to make or anything like that? There is a phone.
I called Rafe already. Um, I guess I could. Well, I'd have to use the phone here. I
Yeah,
don't.
you
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
definitely don't have a signal down here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna trust that phone for a conversation I'd have with William about what the heck they could possibly be doing with an evil ghost.
Well, William is Ordo.
I know, but if the phone is tapped.
The good news is you'd be able to tell if it was tapped.
Oh, okay. Well, then let me
You've
check
you've
out the
been
phone.
you've been doing this IRS special agent stuff long enough that you know exactly what to listen to.
Okay, so I'll pick up the phone and listen, see if I can tell if it's tapped.
There's no dial tone, but it definitely is active. And a voice comes through. It sounds a little warped. Operator.
Mm, see if there's an operator they can listen to the call and they would know who I'm calling. I'm just gonna hang up the phone.
The phone rings.
Hello.
Nervous.
Well, I was a special agent slash part of the NOLA PD, so I don't trust when phones have to be connected through an operator.
I see. If you're willing to owe me one, I'd be willing to make sure that I don't listen in.
Well, see, I also know about owing kindred, so since I don't know you, I'm not gonna fall for that again.
You talk like you're not one of us.
I'm not.
Then what are you doing in the Ordo chapter house?
Um, not sure yet.
Well, aside from Libretta, there's probably 3 other kindred who can stay awake this time of day. Keep your eye open for Vast, Bates, and Camden. And if you change your mind, I'll be happy to put you through to whoever.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sweet dreams.
What was the kindred's name that brought me here?
Libretta.
Libretta. Okay. Thank you. I didn't write that down before. I was gonna say Libertinarius, and I'm like, that's not her name.
No.
That is
No.
that's a
That's your game.
bloodline. That's a bloodline.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I have is there anything around here that I could like set set up on the door that might make some kind of loud clanking that would wake me up if someone opens it? Because I know if
Well,
the ghosts come in here, they're gonna just go through the wall.
it opens inward. I mean, if you tilt anything against it, open the door, I'll knock it over.
Okay, so I will lean up against a chair.
Okay. Brace it or to, like, just knock over?
To knock over. Because I
Okay.
don't yeah, I just something that in case the ghosts can't wake me up in time.
It's an alarm, not a barricade.
Right,
Gotcha.
yeah, I want an alarm, I don't need a barricade necessarily. I mean,
Well, I mean, they may be ordo vampires, but you're still a werewolf and not an inexperienced one. Odds are you could kill your way to the surface.
well, that's what I'm trying to count on, but I'm also not stupid because I do know that there are some circumstances where a werewolf will lose. So,
You're not wrong.
um, I mean, I've been around long enough, I'm not stupid. I may be pretty new, but I'm not stupid.
Damn right. Okay, so, uh,
Well, he should be back in a minute. His camera just drops. Sorry, folks.
our
And he's
regularly
back.
scheduled.
Our regularly scheduled drop off.
It's my Discord, folks. I have no idea what it is, and I'm trying to figure it out, but it's better than the first time.
Yeah.
Alright. Um, alright, so you set your alarm on your phone. That certainly doesn't need a signal. Um,
I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours. Artemis is used to not getting a lot of sleep. She's used to going on days on end without sleep.
it's true. It's true.
She's trained herself.
All right. In your dreams, you see echoes of. It starts with sound. Images shift coming to you as though from ripples on water, like light reflected as you stare straight down at it, but no reflection of yourself. Looking up, you can see that there are great puddles washing through ash, bits of wood and blood, cobblestone. You see buildings smoking all around you. And you see that area, it's weird. There's someone at the middle of it, just some figure, distant. And even if you try to focus, they're blurry. And you see someone come around a corner and they look around and go, "What the hell?" The buildings all look like they're made of wood. And that wood has burned. You see a broken horse drawn wagon. You see firefighters in, 1800s style. But the person who just ran out of the corner is looking confused, looks like a dude with a little beanie cap and a messenger bag. You hear a howl in the distance. You turn and you can see that there is a dark and foreboding wood behind you. Great tunnel formed of trees leading into the darkness, and a pair of yellow eyes staring at you, far
Oh,
too
jeez.
large.
Okay. Follow the eyes.
Ah! You wake up.
Wait, you said something before I woke up and I couldn't hear it.
Beep, beep, beep,
Oh,
beep. You wake up.
okay. Okay. I was like, is he saying something to me?
I'm trying to be
Speak.
narrative here.
I'm sorry, my headset cuts out
Don't
sometimes.
worry about it. So, yes, when
Okay.
when we're all rich and famous, we'll have like a professional studio. Until then, quarantine rules.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Oh,
You wake
shit.
up.
Is the chair still where I left it? Okay.
Everything's as you left it. You have sweated some in your dreams. Give a
Yeah.
cold shiver from it.
Is there a shower, like a bathroom in here?
There is.
Okay, I'll take a shower real quick.
Take the time to wash yourself up, switch to another set of clothes. You are more or less rested, refreshed, and ready for the day or night. No, it's still day.
Probably still day. I didn't sleep for very long.
Yeah, we'll say it's what, 2 p.m.
So I wasn't told that I can't go wandering around, right?
That was never mentioned.
Okay. You said I could sense one spirit in the area, right?
You can sense one locus in the area.
Oh, a
There's
locust. Okay.
there's
But there's no
always
spirits?
well, there's always spirit stuff everywhere. A spirit is just a coalescing of energy that is fed long enough to have a certain emotional imprint that gives it a sense of identity and purpose.
Right, but don't most loci have some spirits around?
They do tend to.
So
They
that's not
also they also
normal.
they also tend to have ghosts and all kinds of other shit.
Okay, well, I don't have any more infrared or those special bullets that kill vampires, do I?
You still have incendiary rounds, but you don't have those
UV bullets?
UV bullets that you pulled out of those mysterious hunters gear.
Yeah.
That done got used up, yo.
Yeah,
And
too bad. I can't. And
there's no
there's no fat Mike around.
there's no Fat Mike. There's no Fat Mike or Larry or anybody who can supply you with
With
homemade
some weird.
flamethrowers or anything.
Yeah, I had a flamethrower, but I probably didn't take it with me.
On the plane? No. You- Look, you're lucky you could bring your gun, what with your badge and all, but there was no way bringing like UV bullets or flamethrowers, a fucking plane, and you were going on vacation with your boyfriend. Why would you bring a flamethrower? You know what? You're a werewolf. You have reasons. Anyway, so
Hold on, Kevin. You're breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure if it's just me.
I don't know. Yeah, I've got some low bars. Am I coming through clear at least?
You're coming through, but oh, wait, hold on. Move again. Okay, yeah, there you go. All right, cool.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. So, you are awake and you have no flamethrower, but
But I have my gun.
you do have tracer rounds that you have like, a clip full of tracers, so you could do some ag, sure.
Do I have hairspray and a lighter?
If you really want it, but I'd like to remind you, you also have the ability to turn into a 9-foot tall killing machine.
Oh, right. Yeah, duh. Okay. Sorry. I haven't played Werewolf in a while.
In a
Okay,
minute.
so it's been a minute. So, okay, yes, I can just kill with myself.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna keep my gun with me though, just because it's like a security blanket for Artemis. And
Oh, sure.
um, is there somewhere that I could like safely hide my bag?
Under the bed, in the armoire. I mean, let's bear in mind your experience with Kindred is if they offer you like hospitality, that's sort of like anything bad you do reflects on them, and anything that somebody does to you reflects it's like it was done to your host.
Okay. I just get nervous around Kindred. That isn't William.
Not a
Okay.
bad policy.
All right, I'll have my gun. I have it, all my special, my wallet, whatever, with me. And I'm gonna go exploring a little bit.
All right.
See if I can find this locus.
You're back out to the hall. To your left is the door you came in through into the hallway. To your right are the stairs leading down under the ominous portrait. The stairs leading down to your right, you smell kindred blood, and you can hear a the locust, on the other hand, feels like it's past the door to your left.
Okay, go to the door on my left.
All right. Opening the door, you return to the chamber with the large pillars and carved with foreign languages. Other doors are scattered throughout the room. To your right is the large double door entryway, and to your left are the sort of ballroom style stairs leading down into a darkness so deep that even your werewolf vision is having a hard time piercing through it, which suggests that there is something supernatural about it.
Is do I feel the locus is in the dark?
Yes, and there is definitely a very feeling coming from it.
Well, it's nothing new for me anyway.
True enough, your experience with loci is anything but positive.
Okay. Down we go.
All right. No research, no talking, no interviews,
Well,
just
okay, all
head
right, let's not.
straight
Yeah,
for the
let's. All
dark.
right.
No, you
I
can
mean,
do that.
I don't know. Is there anybody else around awake?
You heard some growling and shit coming from one
Well, because
direction.
I'm not gonna go into a door where there's growling and a kindred might potentially frenzy on me, and then I end up killing him. That's just bad form.
Nobody
That's
said you had to
bad.
kill them.
That's bad manners.
Look, again, 9-foot tall killing machine with hands the size of garbage can lids. You could probably just be like, hold them at arms, like, yes, calm. But It's possible you could call the operator and be like, ask to be connected to any of those people. Do you want to meet in my room? Nothing really
But
to
she told
listen
me
in
to
on.
look out for those people.
Well, keep an eye open for them. It didn't mean they're bad.
Okay.
Just means they're the ones who would be awake during the day.
Okay. Let's call Vass.
All right, head back to your room, pick it up. Operator, change your
Can
mind.
I please be connected to Vass?
It's Vast with a T. His real
Oh,
name is Vasily, but you know how nicknames work. I think you'll probably find him one level down, not the big stairs in the main hall.
okay. Is there like a room number or am I supposed to just go knocking on doors?
Oh, don't bother knocking on the doors. They won't bother answering. You'll hear him.
All right. He's not the room that's like got the snarling, is it?
Maybe. I understand he's all about building endurance.
Thank you. Hang up the phone. All right, go down one floor.
All right. You pass under the ominous painting and into another chamber. This one does not have as high a ceiling as the main hall, but it sort of looks a bit like a gymnasium almost in a medieval sense. There are uh, a number of punching bags, some torture equipment. There's an Iron Maiden in one corner. And again, hallways branching off at the center of each wall. Stairs led down here. Boop, boop. No doors, linking those ones off. You hear the growling coming from the corner to the left, and you can see that there are a number of large stakes leading up from the ground. And there is a figure impaled on one of them. It is straight through his stomach. He's about halfway down. He's gripping it with his blood slicking down it, going lanky black hair falling thick and straight down in a pool so you can't really see his face. He has no shirt on. His pants appear to be leather, but not in a club wear kind of way, more like built for endurance. Combat boots. You can see a coat, a shirt, and some other effects are folded up neatly nearby.
Vast?
He looks up with glowing red eyes. He looks, boy, if you were casting like a Hollywood Dracula, you would cast this guy. He's got the goatee, he's got the just the high forehead and the pale skin, and I mean, not a bad looking guy considering he's a monster and, undead, but except you. You're not
Uh,
you're not one of us.
no.
He pushes himself up, pulling the stake out as he lifts his weight and then slumps onto his feet. The massive hole in his side, like in his abdomen, which he closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and you can see it knitting right in front of you. His eyes open, and you can see that they are no longer red, just brown.
What are you doing?
This is my practice, and you are not Odo.
No, but I know a little bit about your kind.
You are not our kind either.
Nope. My name's Artemis.
Appropriate. You smell like a werewolf.
Yeah, if you think my first name's appropriate, you share my last name. Um, So I know there's I can sense there's there's a locust here. Why is it hidden, and what's wrong with
Locust.
it? I think you call them worms' nests
You seem to know infinitely too much about us.
because I know what you call a locust.
Yes. How do you know our ways?
I'm from New Orleans. It's crawling with kindred, so I know a lot about your covenants,
That
not
speaks
just
poorly.
Ordo.
That speaks poorly to the maintenance of the masquerade in New Orleans.
Well, isn't the masquerade also kept up by werewolves too sometimes?
The fact that you do not make it into the news every week with your howling and your chaos suggests to me that you have your own version of it. I do not concern myself with other supernaturals for the most part. I don't suppose you are as casual with our terminology with outsiders.
No, I know that you're not supposed to be, so no.
Then how did you come by these secrets? He's his 6'5" form, and while he's skinny, you would guess 200 pounds of muscle. Walks over and begins putting on his shirt and his coat.
Hey, if you want to have a size contest,
He's not preening whatsoever. This
gonna
man
say
moves yeah.
I
This man
maybe
moves with
small now.
this man moves with the efficiency of a practiced warrior. He reminds you a little bit of Marcus, but less playful.
Oh, good.
Perhaps you'll explain exactly how you came by our secrets, and I will be more inclined to talk to you about them.
Like I said, I'm from New Orleans. I talk to many kindred from all of the covenants. And
Mm.
considering I've helped all of them in one way or another, I learned things.
And who exactly told you about our ways?
Well, I can't name names now.
Hmm. Then you are more discerning than whoever shared it. What is your business here?
I'm not sure yet, actually. I have a weird ability to find myself in places that eventually need my help in some way, shape, or form.
Your help
Hmm.
is very certain of yourself. How do you know what you're doing is in fact helping?
I mean, I have a good record of it.
Hmm. You consider yourself altruistic then?
No, it's just because of the auspice that I was born under.
Auspice.
Technically, I should have been born under a moon, but I wasn't. Never mind, you probably wouldn't understand it anyway, since you don't concern yourself with my kind.
Yes, but now you are here and you are my concern.
Well, I mean, you kindred have your prophecies, right?
So you are a subject of prophecy then?
Sort of.
Hmm. How unfortunate for you.
You're telling me.
The Chinese have a saying, may you live in interesting times. It's a curse.
Yes. Um, so this locust, why why does it it doesn't feel right. What's wrong with it?
The locust is not mine to speak of. Perhaps you
Who's
should speak with the Kogayan instead. That is
and who
her.
is the Kogayan?
I was
It's
told you were.
not Liberetta, is it?
I was told you were brought here under her protection. She didn't mention what you are, however.
Well, that's not
Right.
my fault. I didn't tell her she couldn't. It's not like
Indeed.
you wouldn't be able to tell upon meeting me.
Perhaps she is testing me again. Well, as all of the dragon lines are her parvenants, to say nothing of this chapter house or the worm's nest beneath it, that is up for her to decide what to tell you and what not to tell you, and what to allow you to do. Should it come to you being our enemy instead of our guest, it is me you will face.
Okay. Well, there is something of a concern that I've already happened upon.
Yes.
You seem to have a hostile ghost problem.
I have yet to encounter a ghost who is not hostile in one form or another.
Well, most ghosts I encounter are not hostile.
The nest is indeed perilous, but it has its uses.
Care to tell what those uses are?
With great danger comes great challenge, and only by challenge do we grow.
Am I allowed to see this nest?
Again, it is not for me to determine. That is up to the Kogayan.
Can I ask why you were impaling yourself with a stick?
With great danger comes great challenge, and so I grow. You seem to know our ways. You know of our sacred ancestor, yes?
Yep.
Then you know what he was known for.
Yes.
We experience his pain to transcend it. We learn that one pain can enhance another's strength. There is ecstasy to be found beyond suffering, and in that ecstasy, clarity. And with clarity comes chrysalis.
Oh, sorry, hold on a second. Out of character? Did the ghosts tell me the name of the evil ghost? They just said like a guy, right?
Somewhere between Bible thumper, crazy axe murderer.
Okay, but they didn't give a name. Okay. I'm so bad at following clues.
It's okay.
Should not have played a special agent.
Well, they're not
Um,
financial clues.
well, true. Um,
IRS special agent.
yes, IRS special agent turned detective.
Turned werewolf. We're selling the TV rights.
I'm trying to think what else I want to ask him. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's going to tell me anything about this nest.
What about the nest?
Do you know why Liberetta brought me here?
She did not say. But she is a collector of oddities. It is her driving focus here.
For what purpose?
Libretta has a novel approach to the mysteries. She enjoys thinking outside the box. She tends to believe there is much to learn from the other supernatural creatures that share the night with us. As you share the night with us but are not one of us, I'm sure she considers you a subject of fascination. This
What
is
can you tell me about? Sorry, go ahead.
This is admittedly a city of oddities.
What can you tell me about the vending machine on the beach that isn't supposed to work, but did?
My concern is not the research of this strange city, but the protection of the secrets and the members of the Ordo here. I'm
Does
sure
that
there
vending
are,
machine...
I'm sure there are all manner of oddities around this city. Again, Libretta is the one you wish to speak to. If you
Is
were
she awake?
seeking, no, I'm not sure she ever sleeps. So neither do I.
Okay, where is she?
You can find her hall. You can find her just off the Great Hall.
All right.
Perhaps
Thank
she
you,
is
Vast.
perhaps she is testing you as well to see if you choose the correct door.
Hmm.
Libretta is always testing.
Okay. Well, thank you. Ghost site. Do I see any ghosts around?
You see a couple more girls who look like ladies of the evening. They're sort of like watching him and whispering to each other admiringly. Just, oh, he's so strong. Yeah, he was also putting himself on a fucking stake, and it didn't kill him. Isn't that supposed to kill vampires? Yeah, but it wasn't his heart.
Actually, that's just a myth.
Ah! What? You can see us?
Yes, I can.
Meanwhile, who are you talking to?
Some ghosts. You have some admirers.
He
You
looks.
can't see them.
There's just a hint of self consciousness about him, but mostly a suspicious, what the shit?
You can't see them?
You can? Is this a thing
Yes.
werewolves do?
No. Not not typically.
Again, you are atypical.
I mean, usually we can all see spirits, just like birthright. But
What is the difference between a spirit and a ghost?
well, a ghost is somebody who was once alive is now dead, and they're not moving on. A spirit is more like something that's created based on energy that happens. Like, let's say you're in a brothel, spirits there might be lust spirits. Or like if you're in a drug den, addictive spirits.
This place was once a brothel, I believe.
And oddly, I haven't seen any spirits, but I've seen ghosts. So, if you'll excuse me, I just have to ask these ladies some questions. Ladies.
So, like lust spirits, then.
Yeah, but they're not here.
Will
I
that
haven't seen
explain?
any spirits.
Well, that would have explained you. Shut up. Okay.
Um,
What? You, why? How come you can see us and he can't see us?
he's not able to. Not all kindred or werewolves can see ghosts. He can't see you.
Oh, God! If I could just find somebody to possess, I could like.
Let's not do that.
Wait, you can see me. Okay, so just can I borrow you for a minute? More than a minute, I hope.
No, because I have a feeling what you're gonna do, and I'm sorry, no. That's
What?
no.
What are they asking of you?
They want to borrow my body for a few minutes.
I cannot allow this.
Yeah, no, I'm not. That's why I said no.
We have very strict terms about giving oneself over to demons and spirits. It is strictly forbidden.
Well, at least we agree on something. Um, so ladies, I'm looking for somebody who goes by the name of Liberetta, and I forgot what she looks like, so I'll just say I describe her to them. Do you know
Uh,
where she is right now?
Short, pale, 90s clothing vibe.
Yeah. Do you know where she is?
Um, Back up in the main hall, third door on the right from the entrance.
Okay. Thank you.
If you go to the stairs, you've gone too far.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Think
You can
about
con-
it.
you can continue your gawking and lusting.
What I wouldn't give for just one more time. You really have issues.
Okay. Go out to the hall, find the door.
Vast is following you closely. Like he's not hiding it and he's not like stalking you. He's like walking with you to her door.
Okay.
Wait here.
Oh, I knocked, but
He opens the door. Kolgayan, we must speak. He closes the door. It it's
listen to the door through the
it's
door.
thick enough it really should be soundproofed, but wouldn't you know it, you have the senses of a werewolf and can hear through it.
I think I have something else that amps my senses, or maybe I didn't take that.
We'll
No, I
find out.
took a lot of things that help with fighting.
Well, there was a lot to do.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
All
I'll
right.
just try to listen my best.
Unlike a vampire game, fighting merits for a werewolf make a lot of sense. So,
I have acute senses though.
that that definitely like let's bear in mind you have acute senses on top of being a werewolf. So, I'm just going to give this to you. If you want to roll for it, I could give you additional detail, but you run the risk of obsession.
Okay. Yeah, let's gamble.
All right, what's your perception pool?
It's wits plus composure, right? Plus acute senses.
No, acute senses just makes it easier to get a big
Okay,
old success.
7.
See how much those zeros explode. Okay, no. All right. You've got a vague sense of the dimensions of the room, but nothing that's especially going to help you understand them any better. But they do come through crystal clear to you. You might as well be in the room.
Okay.
There are spirits in the hall. I'm aware. We
Spirits,
do
ghosts.
we do sit upon a worm's nest. Yes, but these are ghosts. They're different.
There we go.
We're in the remains of the Seattle Underground. You are aware that many people have died here. Yes, I'm very aware of that. Still, they are here. They are communicating with your guests. You have brought a werewolf into our chapter house. Yes, I have. May I ask for what purpose? Because the local werewolves are uncooperative, and this is a measure of experience and perception and perspective that we currently lack. Do you object to that? It is not my place to object, but this one knows too much of our ways. Did you tell her? No, of course I didn't. Neither did I. So that's someone else's sin. You're welcome to hunt them down if you like. But I'm afraid that would take you out of jurisdiction, and I really do need you here to keep us safe. We can't have the sworn of the axe running off willy-nilly, can we? As you wish. But I will be contacting others of my order to discover who allowed this breach. You will do as you must.
Do I get signal here?
No.
I need to text William. I may have committed a faux pas.
You outed him!
I didn't say who.
You did
There's
not.
other Ordo in New Orleans.
You're fine. All right. So, but pencil that in for your ongoing game.
Yeah.
So, Uh, you hear the footsteps approach the door again. I'm going to assume you straighten up and act like you weren't listening at the door.
Yep.
And door opens. He looks at you again, walks past you. The door is left open, and you see Libretta inside a room that could be considered a super classy library slash mixture of occult investigators office with mad scientist laboratory.
Okay. Hello.
Please come in. You rested well, I assume.
I rested enough.
Do werewolves usually require so little sleep?
Not to my knowledge, but for a very long time I didn't have the luxury of sleep, so
You'll forgive me. I don't have very much interaction with your kind on a person to person basis.
well,
I'd
neither
be
do I.
something of an outsider to your kind.
Yeah,
Is
very,
that why
very
you know? Is
long story.
Well, I have nothing if not time.
I don't even know if I can explain it right.
It's your choice what you will share and what you will not. As I said, you are my guest.
Well, I don't belong to a pack or a tribe, so I am what's known as a ghost wolf.
Ghost wolf. Is this why you're able to see ghosts? Apparently,
Oh, no. That's just something I learned being
I-
in New Orleans.
and you
Lots of
learned
ghosts.
these abilities on your own, or if you didn't have much interaction with werewolves, how did they teach you?
I learned a lot on my own, and with the help of someone I thought was a friend.
See, I have always had the opportunity to see werewolf packs from a distance. I could only assume at their social structure and capacity for divisions of loyalty. It's somewhat refreshing to know that they don't represent an entirely unified front.
Um, so I sensed there's a locus here.
That is what the mages refer to it as well. Interesting. Our terminology refers to them as worm's nest.
Worm's nests.
Yes, I was going to ask you, how exactly do you know so much about our ways? Kindred in general, I would have a raised eyebrow, but the Ordo is a secret society, and you're obviously
Well,
not a member.
obviously not. I don't think I ever could be, even if I wanted to be. Um, for many reasons.
Oh, there's a first
Um,
time for everything.
to avoid belonging to groups. Um, so, well, I found out I was a werewolf while I was in New Orleans. I was originally an IRS agent. Um, but I was then given a special assignment on a special task force as a detective with my who I thought was friend and partner, Soros, who turns out was a Frankenstein.
I'm
Um,
sorry, you've met a Promethean?
is that what they're called? Then
That's what I've
yes.
come to understand they're called.
Then yes, I did. He's dead. Um,
One
yeah.
might argue they're not really alive, but in pursuit of life. I
Well,
take it he
he's,
failed his journey.
I guess. Um, but I was also because I was a werewolf in New Orleans and we weren't technically allowed there. I fell in with the kindred mainly so they could keep an eye on me. So I met a lot of kindred. I know a lot about all the covenants, and just because of having to deal with everything I dealt with there.
Well, you know a great deal about the covenants of New Orleans. I think you'll find that they take very different forms in different cities. We are each a nation and culture unto itself.
Yeah. Um, but
Did
aren't
you work
most of your principles the same?
more or less? I take it you worked with the Ordo in New Orleans then.
I didn't really work with them. More like I was forced to have to interact with them because of different cases I had been put on.
But at least one of them was willing to tell you of our ways.
Um, I'm really good at research.
That kind of research doesn't exist outside of chapter houses, or else it represents an incredible masquerade violation, to say nothing of the silence of the worm.
Well, I can't name any names. Anonymous sources and whatnot.
I have to apologize for Vast. He is, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. He's a member of the Sworn of the Axe. Are you familiar with them?
No.
They are the defenders of the Order of Faith, if you wish to call it faith. They are enforcers of those who would give away our secrets, and masters of war, combat, bodyguards. You could
I
argue
have
that.
a question out of character really quick.
Hit me.
I have the one step ahead shadow gift, and I that's only for like combat, right? Like it can tell me what somebody's next move will be, but not necessarily what their motives are, right?
You know, I think so, but I really like where your head's at. So let me let me take a quick look at this and
I mean,
see.
I have Eyes of the Dead, but she's not that kind of dead.
Yeah,
And
it's there's that.
that won't really give me much except it just tells me what the victim saw before they died.
It's
And I can't go gnawing on her bones, so
not
that would
without,
be bad that would be bad manners.
not in a friendly way.
Yeah, I
That's
thought I
for super damn sure. Um, you know what? I'm going to let you flex this gift this time. We'll do some research in the future to see if
later.
I'm making a mistake. But right now, I like the cut of your jib, so let's give it a shot.
Okay. So, it costs 1 essence.
Mark that off.
I didn't write down that I have to roll anything, but I can tell what the prey's next move will be relative to the scale of the question that I ask. So, instead of her next move, more like, I guess, her next
All right.
step
Well, in the next before your next game, a month from now, we're going to figure out all the roles you need to do. It's been a while since we did this, so our
I
viewers,
don't think
please
I
forgive
because
us.
I wrote down I don't know if I need to roll because I wrote down rolls for all the other gifts and this one doesn't have one unless I just forgot to write it down.
We'll take a look, but I'm not
Um,
I'm
but
not
if you want, you
overall
can
worried.
roll my perception.
That sounds great.
So that's 7.
Yeah, one
So
step
okay,
ahead. No, there's no roll for it. It's just
okay,
instant.
okay. So my question, I really want to know. Well, there's 2 questions I want to know, but I can only ask one. Okay, I want to know if her whole purpose for asking me here was to use me for her own personal gain.
Yes.
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 Then I am inherently not quick to trust her.
I should point out that
That's
her.
most kindred, but
Yeah. And her own personal gain might be to the benefit of others or be otherwise harmless. So it's hard to say if that makes her evil or selfish, but does she
Right.
want to gain from this? Yes.
Okay. Well, at least it's my more fear was I was here as to be an experimental subject.
You could have asked, does she mean me any harm?
That was the other question I was gonna ask. I was debating between the two.
Um, so one step ahead is meant to be you get an idea of a map of an area and you can see which direction they are most likely to go in that
Oh,
area.
okay, so this definitely does not count.
But do you have common sense?
I do. So I guess my common sense would have told me that that's what she was after.
Yes. Yes.
But I don't need essence for common sense, so I'm gonna put that back.
No, but you do have to roll for it. But we're
Yeah,
just
well,
going.
you can
So
roll if you want.
get your essence back. You already have the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I
That
think.
being said, you could use your wits plus empathy.
Oh, to see if she means me any harm?
I mean, just as a straight up, like, what's this person's mood or motive? Are they
Okay,
lying to me? Is she eyeing
so
you like a Christmas roast?
it's 6 with 9 again, 'cause 9 again on yeah.
All right, that'll do. She doesn't seem to mean you any harm.
Okay,
Of course, she could be hard to read or just a really good liar, but as
right,
far as you can tell, she means you no harm. Your caution and paranoia are entirely justified, but that is the read you get.
right. I just realized I put William in danger, and I'm also a little worried about that, so I'm trying to, like, backtrack.
Well, as she was saying, he comes of the old country, which means he does things the old-fashioned way. I asked him here for that very reason. He's very good at what he does, and he is unfailingly loyal. And I need at least a little bit of tradition to rein us in because I believe in doing things in new and exciting ways.
So, that you brought me here for, what is it you think I can help with?
Well, immediately, you seem to be able to interact with the mystery soda machine in a way I've never been able to, nor have I observed anyone else, except for the odd human,
What is that soda machine?
a relic of a bygone era. But that's the trick of it. You see, it lays along certain areas which I can't entirely define. There are. Hmm, you're familiar with our ways. Are you familiar with the dragon lines?
No.
But you are familiar with loci, worm's
Well,
nest.
yeah, because werewolves protect them.
Is that right? That's.
Oh. Okay, Kevin should be there he is.
And we're back.
And we're back.
That's my other purpose here. I'd like to learn as much of your ways as I can. You see, dragon lines are the lines of energy which we observe moving throughout the world. They're they tend to increase the incidence of paranormal phenomena, especially where they cross over. I have noted that a number of nexuses are exactly where loci tend to spring up, but not necessarily. I like to think of them as, well, she holds out her arm and you can see the blue veins along the inside of her arm. Your body is full of veins, I presume. I can hear your heart.
Yes.
Not all of those veins are close to the surface,
No.
but there are some places where they are, where the pulse is strong and where you can see the vein. Press your finger to your jugular and you will feel your pulse. That's because of particularly large arteries. They have a measurable effect. So it is with dragon lines. We can feel the pulse of metaphysical energy moving along them. Some places, this seems to create a weakness between this world and others. Hence, sometimes some things pass through. More often, simply strange things happen. I've heard wonders from the Chicago chapter house. It,
I'm only concerned because it doesn't seem like this worm's nest, as you call it, is it's there's something wrong with it.
it's my understanding many worms' nest or loci are the direct result of some extraordinary event. Many of those hunted down for us, we tend to find that they have a outre history.
So what happened? Was there a fire here?
This entire area is the product of a fire.
What started the fire?
I'm not sure anybody really knows.
What
Nothing of
about
nothing of supernatural interest as far as I can tell. But that being said, the Great Seattle Fire happened in 1889.
and this was a
Lasted for
brothel?
this area was a
Red
domain
light
of the
district.
Demimonde. You might say so.
What about the not so nice ghost that likes to hang around the worm's nest?
That is from before the fire. If you're to believe history, at approximately 2:30 p.m. on June 6, 1889, an accidentally overturned glue pot in a carpentry shop started the most destructive fire in the history of Seattle. Whether that's true or not, I'm afraid I don't know. But any given red light district, as you call it, is prone to its own bad happenings.
Why are you using him though? What are you using him for?
I've never encountered this spirit you speak of myself, or ghost, if there is indeed a difference.
There
I,
is a difference.
I've never encountered it personally. Worms' nests serve use for us not only academically, but in our pursuit of perfection. They provide us with spiritual perspective and framework which we might otherwise not be able to find.
But you can see him.
I can't. I'm afraid I
Well,
don't have
someone
access.
here can.
Well, I'm afraid I don't have access to a Dragolescu. Though,
No, but somebody here can because you're using him. So how can you use him if you can't see him?
well, we're using the nest. I'm not familiar with any particular spirit, ghost, which inhabits it. If I was to take you at your word, the concept of an animist religious perspective, then the rain has some measure of thought behind it. Am I using the rain if I walk out under it? She holds
But
up a
I was
pen. The,
told you had a specific interest in him specifically, which would imply that you knew he existed.
who told you this?
Someone.
There's the
One of your ghosts.
so you spoke to a ghost who I am not able to speak to, and you believe that their perspective, which I do not share, defines what I know?
I don't know you.
That's fair. I'd like
And
to
I
establish
have seen a lot of stuff that makes me not trust people easily,
very wise. I'd like for you to
especially
trust.
when it comes to a loci.
I would like to establish trust. I would like for a relationship to be built. I believe that we can be very helpful to one another. If you don't tell me what you hear, I cannot verify it or explain it. If I had to guess, if a ghost looks at the nest and sees the entity which you purport inhabits it, they might see me as putting it to use. I do not see an entity. I am merely aware of a space which has certain effects which we find profitable.
Can I see the locus?
I'd be very interested to know what your experience and observation is, but I must admit I'm nervous about it.
Well, I'm nervous about what's happening to it.
What do you intend to do with the nest?
I just want to observe it right now.
And I have your word that you won't interfere with it without my permission.
Yes.
Well, trust starts with someone. I'm going to trust you. She stands up. Follow me. She reaches into one of the cargo pockets of her pants and pulls out a very broad string of keys. Down the ballroom steps of the main hall you go. Down into a space which immediately chills you.
Mm-mm.
It's dark here. Dark like before you became a werewolf. Dark in the way that it's not just the dissolving away of color to create shapes of mass and lack. It's dark. And oddly enough, that scares you a little. You're usually so aware of what's happening that suddenly lacking it is like somebody put a blindfold and earmuffs on you. Come to it, the sound is a little muffled too. You're not sure if this is something which is actively concealing your senses or if you've merely been restored to a mortal sense of perspective. It's hard to remember exactly what it was like to sense things as a human. Memories become like half remembered dreams if you go long enough, especially when they don't match your current perspective anymore. Still, you're able to see Libretta in front of you. You can follow her close enough. The room feels large. She opens a door, or she slides the key into a door, the jangle of keys under it. She turns it to open the lock, and you can vaguely see the outline of her look back at you. Is your vision dulled as well?
Yeah, is yours?
Mm-hmm. We've
Is
speculated
that
on.
something you did?
No. We've speculated that it's a side effect of the nest. I've wondered, is it a dimming of perception for everyone? I haven't brought a mortal down here yet to see if their senses are reduced. If this is indeed a haunting, as you say, then perhaps we're experiencing some form of sensory perception change that relates to said ghost's desires.
I wonder. Question. If I change shape, that's not going to change. That doesn't change my vision, right? It's always the same.
I think so.
Because it doesn't say that it does.
Well, your
But I was thinking
perception,
my perception gets uplifted, but
I think that's just an overall boost because, different shaped ears, different shaped nose, etc.
that's why I'm wondering if I go to Tiny Wolf, if I'd be able to see better.
Probably not.
Okay, then I'll stay like this. Can I see into the spirit world though?
If you want to.
Yes.
Your eyes shift over into the shadow. All around you, The floor is wet. Not maybe just enough water to reach the soles of your shoes, enough to make a splash. Burning embers fall from the ceiling timbers. Whatever you've experienced elsewhere around here, this feels amplified. The darkness is definitely spiritual in origin. Like here in the Hissel, it looks darker. It looks the way you imagine it would look to a person. The falling embers hiss as they hit the floor, landing in the puddles from the it's got that kind of burning wood look where it's like lines of red or like pulsing back and forth. There's no sense of the creak of fatigue or the risk of collapse. It's the spirit world. It's a frozen moment, a frozen mood. She turns the key, opens the door, and inside, you smell blood.
Oh boy.
You smell blood and iron, sweat. You smell something sterile. You smell paper and ink, cheap perfume, oil burning lamp fumes. You open your eyes again. And you can see the spot where the locus is. To you, it looks like reality at some point has been pressed in a two-dimensional warp in a three-dimensional world. It's been pressed and it is torn slightly. Around this, you can see the energy of the place forming around that hole, coalescing into energy, essence, which you could feed on.
Do I want to feed on this essence though?
I mean, it's not the horrible shit you've seen before.
But
Essence
it's not.
is, yeah, this isn't, don't give everything away to the audience.
No, I wasn't gonna. I was just gonna say it's not good though.
Well, when you eat it, it becomes neutral.
Okay. All right. Well, I
Spirits,
guess it's good to know I have a place to replenish.
the reason that spirits both tend to be born around loci and the reason that they tend to stay and guard them is because energy essence pools very strongly around a locus. That energy can be gathered by a number of supernatural creatures, which can then use it for their own, special abilities. The energy around here, because there's so much of it, a spirit that feeds off it, or if there are no spirits around feeding, the energy, the emotions that flow over it start to flavor it in a way. And then it starts to coalesce, form, become something alive. And then that feeds on the energy and it grows and grows and grows. Spirits like to hang out here because they can eat it too. But it also tends to, like attracts like. Whatever the nature of this essence, its aspect, its feeling, that feeling is going to attract creatures that like that and want to eat more of it to become stronger of that form. If a spirit of a different form eats the wrong kind of essence, it might mutate into a hybrid of what was and what is now. But anyway, there's a lot of essence.
Okay.
Apparently unharvested for the most part. And standing very near it, almost in front of it, maybe behind it. It's hard to tell. You see a figure.
But I don't have my ghost sight on. So is this a spirit?
Could be. It looks like a man.
Can I? Is it? It's easy to switch back and forth, right?
Yeah,
Okay, switch to ghost sight and see if I still see the figure.
you do.
The hell? Can you see that?
See what?
There is a man standing right there, right by the locus.
No, I'm unaware of this.
Can I see what he looks like?
He's more of a silhouette than a detail. The It's like there's light shining behind him, and you can see like the edges just around the corners of him. You can see a little bit of detail, and then everything in the actual center mass is just dark.
In
There's
both
the
sights, spirit and ghost?
there is
It
the
doesn't change?
it doesn't. There is the impression of a man in a suit. He's got a hat, bowler hat, tipped low.
I was gonna say, is it a top hat?
No, I'm not going to do that again. He has a bowler hat tipped low, old-fashioned suit. Looks like it's one of those sort of yellowish grayish types. Collar. You think you see the angles of a tie pulled a little loose. Jacket, boots, pants. And in one hand he's holding a book, and the other hand he's holding an axe. Think a
Who are
fire
you?
axe.
Who are you?
Who are you?
I asked first.
I am the word.
I'm Artemis.
A pagan name.
Sure.
Are you one of them?
One of who?
Whores.
What?
Whores.
Oh, no.
You actually feel like the timbers rattle around you in the spirit world.
No.
Then you're not about God's work.
Are you?
I am his word.
Were you once alive?
I am an angel.
Mm,
I am seraphim.
what is your purpose here?
Bring the word.
To who?
Whore.
Well, they're not here anymore.
They're here over and over and over again. I bring razor wing. I deliver hell to those who don't make the journey. I am his word.
What's your name?
I gave him my name. I have no name.
Who did you give your name to? I forget. Do werewolves have a certain authority over spirits?
Yes.
So do I need a special skill for that? Or
No.
a special gift for that?
No. You do have your what is it? Reputation.
Oh, my
Your
renown?
renown. Thank you. You do have your renown, which shines from your soul, and it's the marks of approval from spirits going, whoa, we got a badass here. So you can let that shine.
Okay. I asked you who you gave your name to.
I answered. I answer to no one but the Lord. The book in his hand gleams for a second, and you can see a gold embossed cross on it.
Bible. Is he blocking the entrance to the locust?
He is directly between you and it.
If I start moving towards it, will he block me? Does he block me?
As you move closer, he doesn't seem to be any closer or further away. As you move slightly to the side, he is still perfectly in the same spot.
I'm tempted to just kind of like rush and see if I can push him and me in through the locust.
You could try.
But if he's a ghost, I can't. I'll go right through him.
Well, you can interact with spirits from here. If you pass into his world, well, honestly, given that you can see him on two different frequencies, you're starting to wonder where exactly you would go.
Right. Okay. Liberetta,
Hmm,
do you have history books on this place?
of course.
I'm gonna need to look at them.
By all means. Shall we return to my office?
Yes.
As you step out of the room, she closes the door and you let your sight drop.
No.
Okay. As you walk back up the ballroom stairs, you note that your breath is like coming out in mist. Very simple.
Wait, which in the spirit world? Because I kept it. I went to the spirit world
The physical
site.
world.
Oh.
Mhm. As you move up the stairs, though, you note that it gets warmer, you get warmer, and that eerie sense starts to fade away. I must say, that was a provocative experience.
Oh,
Those
we don't
who
have a lot of time. I was gonna say I was gonna call Rafe, but we don't have time.
those who have attempted to pursue their chrysalis in that area found themselves challenged, but I've never seen a physical manifestation quite so strong.
So you did see him.
No, I simply saw the environmental changes. The room got warmer, and yet there was ice forming in places. Didn't make any sense. Thermodynamic instability suggests some kind of bypassing of terrestrial sciences. Though
What
who are
doesn't
we to
make
talk?
what doesn't make sense is he can be seen not only as a ghost but also in the spirit world. That's not
Hmm,
supposed to happen.
these are two different things.
Yes.
See. She opens the door back to her office. Can I offer you anything?
Coffee.
I do enjoy the smell. She turns on one of the newer type things. Guess where you are? Seattle. So she straight up goes to one of this big, beautiful Italian espresso machine and whacks that stuff out very quickly. She brings a cup over to you. She has one for herself, but you note she does not drink it. She does still like,
I
so,
watched her the whole time, right? No blood went into that coffee.
nope.
Okay.
She's not drinking it either. It's just, oh, you mean in yours? No,
My coffee.
no. She had her back to you, but her like hands were operating stuff and pouring. If she managed it, you have no idea how.
Okay.
Um,
I
let's
need
see.
to see. I'm guessing late 1800s history. Looking for a preacher man with an axe.
Let's see what we can find. You might be well served by checking some of the occult lore shops, historical societies, the library, public records. We do have some here, but frankly, with those resources available, I don't find it necessary to have all of that on hand. Still, as long as you don't destroy our nest, I have no problem with you providing more insight into it. She lays a stack of books in front of you.
All right, well, I'll start here.
Before we continue, as fascinating as I find all of this, and I do, and I am grateful, I would like to learn more about your kind.
I don't know much.
You have your own experiences, though. You don't necessarily have to tell me about your culture, though anything you can share would be most beneficial. I make a point of meeting as many other kinds of others as I can. You may have gathered I've interviewed a Promethean. I have had the opportunity to meet creatures from very strange places. And for what it's worth, while Vast may hold some measure of indignation over somebody telling you our ways, our oath is against the outsider, but I read that as the kindred or the mortal. Ergo, as long as you can be trusted not to spread it, I'm perfectly willing to consider you a probationary member of the Ordo. A, adjunct faculty.
Well, considering I refuse to name my sources,
You don't have to, but I would offer you whatever word you wish.
I'm just
That if you
saying
did tell
that
me, I wouldn't put them in any harm.
that should prove somewhat that I can keep a secret.
It does. On the other hand, your willingness to share a secret with me would show trust. Not break a secret, only share it.
Well, I already told Vast that I don't belong to a pack or a tribe. And I think I told you I was a ghost wolf, but that has nothing to do with me being able to see ghosts. And I was born not under a moon, but stars, so I'm a star wolf, which lends me to all sorts of trouble, prophecies, and whatnot. But I do
Wonderful.
have an affinity for being places that I'm needed. So since I'm here, I'm assuming I'm needed.
The wrong place at the right time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hence your immediate interest in our nest.
Well, since that was what I dealt with last time, that's the first place I went. There was a really bad nest in New Orleans.
Well then, why don't you tell me all about that? And on that note, the camera pans away. And that is the end of this episode. All right.
Okay.
Good times?
Yes.
Yay. Good.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. Um, this is a Tooth and Claw Realities production, which is a company of Third Shift Realities.
LLC,
And
LTD,
yeah, whatever.
International Limited.
Uh, be sure to like us on Facebook. We now also have a Twitter, so you can follow us on Twitter. If there's any episodes you've missed, our YouTube channel
Yeah.
page, whatever, is down there, and it's got all of the videos. We will also start doing shortened highlight versions of these so that you can catch up quickly.
Combination of the
Uh,
most important information and the information that we just think is funny and entertaining.
right. Special thank you to our artists, Heidi Foland. Did I say that right?
I think so.
She did the characters that you see on either side. My sister, Sarah Trakowski, who did our logo up at the top, and our lovely friend Lindsay Kay, who did the background and put everything on it. And of course, to Erica Hoffman for doing all of our tech, which we would be lost without you. Thank you.
Truly. We put all of
Truly
our dots
lost.
into role playing.
And if you wish to watch another Tooth and Claw Realities production on Tuesday, there will be the new show that we are going to be producing, Jerry at Twitch, where you will watch Edie and Mavis, the 80-year-old somethings, trying to recapture their youth with Dungeons and Dragons.
The Dungeons and the
8:30
Dragons.
p.m. Central Standard Time
I'll be tuning in.
on Tooth and Claw Realities Twitch. They are also on Facebook.
Also, be sure to check out our playlist that we've included if you'd like to see the music that we used in this episode. Big shout out to all of those artists. We own nothing, and that's why we don't
Yes, we
play
own
anything
nothing.
on our channel. Support them,
Yes.
buy their stuff. They're pretty awesome. Also, be sure to check out our next episode of this show in
Yes, of
2
this
weeks.
show.
This show, Tooth and
Yes, this
Claw,
show in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Again,
The
Ashley will be
William
running.
R Yeah, Requiem of William Ravelowe, Prophecy and Sacrifice,
Episode 3.
episode 3. Alright, thank you everybody again for watching. Have a good evening.